Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Moore, and I want to welcome you back to our Build a Better Brain Workshop series. Last week we talked about the neuron. The neuron is the nerve cell. And we talked about stimulation will contact the dendrite of the neuron, that's the receptors, and that will go to the nerve cell body, and that's digested by the nerve, and then that information is relayed down the axon of the nerve to the next nerve. Well, that is called an action potential. A stimulus is fired up at the nerve at rest. Now, a nerve is at rest at negative 70 microvolts. And that stimulus then brings that called depolarization. That's as big as the words I want to get. Depolarizes the nerve. Now, there's two types of stimulus. There's these little step-ups. That's called temporal stimulation. And I like to think of it this way. Somebody just nagging you and hitting you in the temporal bone. Eventually you're going to look at him and do something. All right? And so that drives the nerve, it depolarizes the nerve, and just subtly, little bits at a time, stimulates the nerve up, 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 and up. There's also something called spatial summation. Now, spatial summation is instead of this, wham! Everything happens at once, and that fires the nerve up past negative 40 microvolts, and that creates something called an action potential. And that is where the neuron fires. That is what gets the neuron fires. So negative 40 millivolts is where the action potential occurs. Then the nerve repolarizes, comes down here, goes below negative 70, goes to negative 90. So it actually goes below, and it comes back to rest. That is a healthy nerve. So you fire up that nerve, it fires up, it reaches an action potential, and then it rests, and it pumps sodium out, and then it depolarizes back to negative 70 microvolts. Now, an unhealthy neuron with the standard American diet, standard American lifestyle, trauma, drug abuse, prescribed or not prescribed, surgeries, anything that changes your DNA, will change this resting potential from negative 70 to negative 50. This is called neuron fatigue. And so now the nerve's not resting down here. It only takes a little bit of stimulation to get that action potential. But you can see it's a different action potential. And then neuron drops down and it rests there. So it just takes a little bit, so the nerve fatigues. When you have chronic illness, instead of this healthy neuron going through this big change, it's up here, and it's just a little change. And that's why people get oversensitive nerves. I have a patient comes in, his dog just, he lands, the dog touches his legs, and he goes, ah! Whereas before, it didn't. And that's because the dog touching the leg used to take a lot of energy. Now it just takes a little bit of energy, and it's the wrong kind of action potential. So what are we going to do as an exercise to help with this? Well, I'm just going to say this. I've said in the last workshop, nerves need oxygen. Nerves need stimulation. Nerves need fuel. How about a better lifestyle? How about looking at who you are as a human being, and you stop beating yourself up and you give yourself some time to heal? Go for a walk, move around like I said last time. A great exercise. This is probably the best exercise I can give people, is to do the vagus nerve exercises. And if all you did was hum throughout the day and sang songs and had joy in your life, you can clean up some messes. Start eating better food. We're going to go through all of these things. But all of the negative things that happen in our life when we beat ourselves up, the very first thing that happens when somebody has a nerve problem is this. They fatigue the nerves, they lose energy, they lose motivation, they lose endurance. That endurance can be, I'm fine when I wake up in the morning, Dr. Moore, but come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my back starts to hurt. Well, that's not because your muscles. That's because the neuron fatigue can't coordinate proper postural tone, and you can't move around properly. Another great exercise, and probably one of the better ones I've been working with all my patients this week, is just stick your thumb out in front of your face, look at your thumbnail, and turn your head. And your eyes should move smoothly. what I see in most people is they don't know where center is, so they overshoot, or they're like this, they're jerky. And if they're jerky, that's neuron fatigue. It should be nice and smooth, and you should come back to center. So that's a great exercise. If you want to know more about that, just call or text 810-374-0304 and say, Dr. Moore, I'd like to be part of your Restore Your Brain program. And we will give you videos every 2 weeks on simple stuff that you can do to get a better brain. But for now, this is the action potential. A healthy neuron fires up through temporal summation or spatial summation, and it depolarizes, it rests, and then it hits a nice healthy resting potential, and there's a big gap there. An unhealthy neuron is stimulated, but it never gets a chance to rest because it takes energy to rest. We're going to talk about more of the neuron in subsequent videos, but this you might have to watch a couple times. I tried to make it very simple. This is the hardest stuff to understand about neurons. It's so difficult, but it's very important in understanding about your health. So I want to say thank you very much. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and just spread the word and have an awesome day.